The Thought Lab. Jaryd Smith.
Hey.
Welcome to the Thought Lab podcast.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
So before my podcasts, usually I give a little clap.
Yeah.
And that's well, initially it was because I got told to do that, right? When I was reading forums, right? When I first started. And the whole idea was so that you could sync, because you're the sound engineer, right?
Yeah.
And the whole idea was that you could sync the video and the audio. But then it became a thing actually for my guests.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like when do you start?
So
hey, start.
It's like the gun in the beginning of a race.
Exactly. He's like, hey, start. Okay, start now. So just before the podcast, I was like, let's give a clap. And you're like, yes, give future me a clap, because you're the one that's actually going to end up doing this.
But actually, truthfully, I know it's funny, but when you do clap, I kind of find it on the audio from the video, and I find it from the audio on the audio.
Yeah.
And then I just normally just cut everything before that.
Yeah.
And then,
okay.
And then it's a good starting point.
It is a good starting point.
I don't sync it from there.
But yeah. But just for me, it's become like a little bit of an institution. You know, let's do the clap and let's start the podcast, because it makes life easy. So for the listeners out there, in addition to being an incredible musician, you also happen to be my brother.
Just accidentally.
And you also happen to be the Thought Lab podcast's main sponsor.
Yeah.
Equipment sponsor and sound engineer.
Yeah.
So you put together the pre and post production.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you put together the whole system here that John Flismus was very kindly praising so much in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Roman.
Yeah, and Roman.
Oh yeah.
Roman.
On Roman's podcast, he was like, "Ooh, yeah." And I was like, "Thank you."
Silently.
Yeah. Oh no, I was in my car. I was like, "Yeah, you better know."
You better know. Because you actually get to, you know, there's always about 10, 15 minutes or 5, let's say between 5 and 10 minutes before the podcast where
I get to see the raucous.
Yeah, the raucous, the ruckus and the craziness before
and
the podcast
afterwards.
actually starts. Yeah.
I know. I've heard some cool stuff in the before and afters of your videos. Just the way you guys are. I'm not going to be like all psychologically like. Wasn't a word, just in case you're wondering. Wasn't a word. But you can hear how in the beginning of the stage that like you guys are busy like chatting, and you're trying to find
commonality.
Like you want to hit that rhythm where you can just like where you're about to now talk for about 2 hours, and a lot of the guys are just like, I guess an hour will be fine. And everyone has just gone so much further. But then afterwards, you guys are just like, yada, 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 yada,
it's
yada.
true,
What about
right?
you? Yada, yada, yada.
So many of the guests have been like, look, but I mean, I'm sure I can only do an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, absolutely, dude. Then we'll stop at an hour.
You just do what you want to do. It's fine.
Ian one was like, I'm a little bit ADD. I don't think I could do more than an hour. No problem, Ian. That's 100%.
And then you get that SpongeBob, an eternity later.
Exactly.
You guys are still talking.
Exactly. Yeah, no, flipping hell. So, like, I've been wanting to podcast you from day dot. I mean, from the moment we decided to actually do a podcast, in my head, I always wanted to podcast you, and you were always going to, I wouldn't say a regular, but be on the podcast a lot, you know, because you've played such an influential part in my life, in terms of the podcast life. And even pre this, you know, I got you into podcasting quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And it's become a thing for us to discuss the different podcasts, because you travel a lot for your music, and I travel a lot for my music, right? And it's always like, okay, what are you listening to? And what are you listening to? What's your best podcast? But I mean, but seriously, it has played a massive role in our lives, right? And I've always wanted to podcast you. And I'm so chuffed that we finally are doing the podcast now, which is really, really cool. And like I said before the podcast, it's always about you. Yeah. And despite the fact that I know a lot about you, it is about you and a lot of your fans out there. And I mean, you've got a big dude, for somebody who isn't signed to a record label. Assholes.
It's the internet.
It's the internet.
What's wrong with you?
You have a very big following.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at S on Tap, dude. Look at what happens when you play on S on Tap. And you played every single S on Tap with them, right?
Mostly.
You're a regular.
Yeah, mostly. It's most of them I've played, and man, let's call a spade a spade. The Clarence Beer Festival is just that's
insane.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
That's I'm like furniture there.
yeah. I just got back from Clarence this weekend, and it was weird being there without you.
Yeah.
It was really, really weird. Yeah. And we were saying though, we have to go and do, because I haven't done a Clarence Beer Festival.
Yeah.
As yet.
But let me tell the story, because I'd like to tell the story.
Okay,
right?
You tell the story.
So growing up in the big Huntley Smith shadow, right? No, but this is what happened, right? It was really cool. So I grew up in Springs, and whenever I met anybody that was a little bit older than me, they would always be like, oh, you Huntley's brother. And that's what I was called. Like, I was like, gosh, I didn't know I had like two names, like Jaryd and Huntley's brother, right? Whenever I was in Springs, or whenever I was into art, and when you're younger, you start getting out there and you start like going to the pubs and
mingling.
Stuff. Yeah, the mingles. And it was always, hi, Huntley's brother. Oh, hey, Huntley's brother. And hi, this is Huntley's brother. And then you used to go to Clarence a lot.
Yes.
But as weekends and holidays, I went to Clarence to go work.
Yeah.
To actually make a name.
Correct.
And then what happened was, that was the first time when you got to Clarence and someone was like, oh, you're Jaryd's brother.
But what I remember though is you like fist pumping. Yes!
I can't dance, but I tried.
You white girl dance.
I was shaking the booty.
No, I remember that. I remember that well.
Yeah.
So let's go all the way back, Boo. For the guys who don't know, it all started, if my recollection brings me right, and maybe I'm wrong, but it all started with our grandfather giving you a guitar.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So no, what happened was, they took me to church, and I was a little ADD boy, and had no reason to concentrate on anything. And apparently the story goes, these old people and their stories. Apparently the story is that when I was in church, the guitarist had been playing, and for legitimately like an hour of the praise and worship or whatever it was at that point, I like wouldn't take my eyes off him.
Okay.
I just stared at this guy, right?
Well, let's rather say you stared at the guitar, because otherwise it sounds weird.
I was a little kid, and I was like, man, look at that wood. Whoops. No, so yeah, that's what happened, and then Opes, well, we call him Opes, like Opes, and then they bought me my first guitar when I was 6, because this happened when I was 6.
Okay.
Apparently. And then I only actually like legitimately started playing guitar when I was 12.
Yeah, also in church.
No. Henry DeWitt was my first teacher.
Ah, that's right.
He came from like wherever he was. I don't even know.
He probably came from the Amazon, because that's where he used to go, to like the Amazon.
Yeah, he would like crawl out of the trenches and be like, "Here are your next chords, young one," and then leave. And I'll be like, "Master, no,
don't go,
master." But then because he was gone for so long, and we weren't in the point where I could get a regular teacher. We weren't at that stage money wise. He would teach me, let's say, 3 or 4 chords, and then he'd leave. And we didn't have internet. We didn't have anything. It was just, it was legitimately like, there was a guitar, 4 chords, and then he'd disappear for like 4 months. And I'd get the chords right within like 2 weeks. So within that situation, I would take the 4 chords and do as much as I could with them in writing. So I'd create as much as I could. And those songs were terrible, man. They were like, can you imagine like a 13-year-old, what he's got to say? So much life experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the songs
didn't get my jam
terrible.
sandwich today.
And they sounded a lot similar to each other, because they were pretty much the same chords the whole time. And then he'd come back and he would teach me another 4 chords. And at this point, the second time, I was like, can you just add like another like an 8 or so? And he was like, yeah, there is only like 6 chords and like 12 chords. So I was like, what the hell? There's like a million songs out there. And I think that's how the songwriting part of the career also started, through not having anything else but
almost necessity.
And then I figured out this whole internet thing.
And then what happened is you gave me
yeah, because we didn't have internet.
Yes,
I knew it was out there. It was like the cloud, because it's there, but no one knows what it actually is. Don't you ever think that the internet, sorry, going down this hole, don't you ever think that the internet has got its own consciousness and like looks through our phones at us and just like, what?
It's called the NSA.
The podcast just got stopped. What? Who's listening? It's just like this enigma that looks through your phone at like humanity and goes, wow, I'm glad I'm in here and not out there.
Yeah. It's called Google. It's called Facebook. It's called the NSA. It's called the FBI. It's called the CIA.
It's a good tool, man. Because some terrorist is tweeting about something.
Yeah. Well, Roman and I discussed that, and he says he's glad that there's a platform for people to voice their opinions, because when they voice their opinions, you get to know exactly who they are.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a good point.
Yeah, like if you're a racist, then you're going to show and prove to everybody that you're a racist.
Yeah.
Which I agree. I think that's fantastic.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so getting back to where you were, I remember you would give me songs.
Yeah, and there would be a list.
Yeah, a list of songs, and I'd go and find their chords. For them.
on a website called ultimateguitar.com.
That's right. Look, I will say one thing, dude.
It's like the porn app
You
for
drove me
guitarists.
absolutely insane when I was young. Absolutely insane playing, because every musician sucks.
Oh yeah,
it's just as simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
And just like everybody else, sucked. And at home, I mean, so for the listeners who will know, at home, especially in the mornings, right? In my home, there's fucking silence, bud.
Yeah.
Everybody's quiet. There's peace and relax and contentment, and there's a kettle going with coffee.
Yeah.
There's no music. There's no TV. There's nothing, you know. And it's I hate it. I hate a craziness in the morning. I just want to, you know, my OCD. Everything just needs its little order, and then I can go off to work and be happy.
And then you sit there, and like the drum groove starts, and you start clicking, but not because you're enjoying it. No. You're like, oh, damn it. Ow.
Yeah, because you're making so much goddamn noise.
Yeah.
So then comes your career at Copa, which was a very interesting career for you. The Campus of Performing Arts, which is of course where you did 4 years guitar. You majored in 4 years of guitar.
3 years.
3 years of guitar.
And then
because it was 5. Yeah. 1 year vocals?
No, it was 4 years all in all. So it was 3 years of guitar, where I got my higher diploma, and then 1 year of sound engineering,
and
part-time sound engineering, and vocals.
Oh, did you do that at the same year?
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
did that.
I went through on Saturdays.
All right, that's right.
And I don't know if I got my diploma or not. So I can't.
I'm sure you got your diploma. You just phone Copa, dude.
Just like a piece of paper.
There's this new thing. It's called a telephone.
Doesn't change anything. No. I have a piece of paper. Show me on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this was very interesting for you, because Copa's first of all, Copa's a brilliant school.
Yeah,
and I think it was the best thing for you. But it was filled with emos.
Yes. and for the younger listeners, not the faces that you get on.
Yeah, we're not talking about an emo G. But proper emos, right? Like black hair and black nails. And
I remember the first day I went to Copa. I came from a little town of Springs. I also wasn't big on partying at that point. I was still this very I went there when I was 15 turning 16. Okay. Now for a lot of people, they were already out partying and stuff. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay? I was very I'd stayed at home, and I had a friend or two, and that was it, man. I just come off my climbing tree stage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. What did you do? I climbed trees.
What did you do in your youth? Climbed trees and got stuck and got scared and had to figure your way out, yeah? And then the first day I got back from Copa, I went to Mom, and I was like, Mom, you're gonna have to buy me some black shirts,
because everybody was in black.
Bro, and what a cold culture shock.
You rocked up in a white t-shirt,
in just this white calm t-shirt, and I was and probably green pants, and pants that don't even go with themselves. It was terrible. I had terrible fashion sense as well, still do, and I went home. I was like, yo, we have to buy some black shirts. And for the first year I did. Like, I legitimately tried to not conform, because I don't think musically I try to conform, but just kind of like, kind of fit in. Like, I'm wearing a black shirt, you're wearing a black shirt, we can chat, you know? And then my second year, it kind of just changed. I walked in with a white shirt, fuck this shit. And all the new emos walked in, and I was just like, hey guys, you won't make money. We know now, because the first year the Copa really pushed the whole I know you think that you're all different, but you're not. And the only person that's actually going to make it is not your indifference to everybody else, but your hard work. It's got nothing to do with how you what you wear or how you look or what music you do.
Talents and hard work.
It's just grinding the whole time. And after your first year, you get like smashed with that, and then you see the emo guys, they struggle as much as you do,
of course,
because there's always going to be that one thing in music that you struggle at. So like the emo guys were really good at soloing, but then you would put them in a situation where they had to groove, like a funk groove with a really sick bass line or like some form of like super groove, and not, you know, and they would struggle. I wouldn't say that it was an impossibility for them, but then they wouldn't have that. And then on my side, it was like I struggled at the soloing part, but then the groove part and the reading chords and the stuff like that was a lot more easier. And I understand it's college, we're all learning, so I'm not saying
you're highlighting the differences.
Everyone's on like their own little path, and everyone struggled in their own little way. And the one thing I think all of us musicians struggled with was playing slowly. Like, it was one of the biggest things in Copa, was like whenever we got a slow song, I think the drummers, guitarist, everybody but the vocalist were like, oh no, we're all failing this song, because playing slow is difficult. Because you just want to have fun and go crazy. You're young and you just want to do things. And I think Copa,
and playing on that timer thing, what is it called? A metronome. There we go.
We had a drummer in our college who I don't know what happened to this kid. Like, his first year he was getting there, second year he was like and then his third year, like, he just exploded. Like, he became this monster drummer. And a few of us asked him what's up, and he's like, I started sleeping with a metronome under my pillow, because he got like crazy about being good. I was like,
good, bad. Obsessive is good.
He got super obsessive, and I was like, whoa, that's got to be annoying. And he's like, no, it's all right. You know, once you get used to it.
Holy shit.
He like,
well, think about that. It's
just continuously. And
do you
then,
think
like,
he actually did that?
I don't know. I don't know. But
he did become obsessed.
But yeah, he did become very obsessed. And at one point, he was reading as good as the teacher.
Wow.
And he was
wow.
But
now,
you can do that,
who's the first project? The drummers.
Yes.
First project. They were a Copa.
Yeah. The drummer the drum teacher at the time.
Yes,
was one of the drummers in First Project.
In First Project.
But,
and I mean, I've been to a First Project. So for the listeners who don't know what First Project is, it's this group of drummers that get you together in this room, and then they have different types of, what is it? It's
percussion
like
instruments.
Yeah, different types of instruments, and you sit there and they basically build up this crowd participation type style drumming session. And I mean, I've been to one, and fuck, it was incredible.
And a lot of people go, no, well, I can barely clap to a song. But
no, when you're in a group like that.
When you're in a group like that, it's very simple to like
changes.
Look at someone and go, oh, that's where he's putting it. Or even not even that, but because you're having this one-on-one guy and he's like, yo, listen, follow this hand. Clap on this hand. You know what I mean? And then the other guys start playing around that.
Yeah. So that was the idea. They'd set that like the tone.
Yeah.
Right? Or I mean, you know, the musical
rhythm.
They set the rhythm with the drums, and then they'd start playing around it. And I mean, it was flipping incredible. I actually think I need to download First Project again. No, but it really was good.
Just like watch like a YouTube video of it.
Yeah.
But I
mean, it was really incredible.
So they did a lot what the Blue Man Group now has gone and really exploded in, except the Blue Man Group started using pipes and stuff for noises and stuff like that. But the First
I do not know of this Blue Man Group you talk about. Why have you not told me of them? No.
Oh.
We'll talk about this later, bro.
Okay, cool.
So in Copa though, is also the first time you ever got introduced to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So just around the corner was your club.
Was my club.
Legitimately
Nathan Roths, yeah.
Around the corner was your club. And you were like, bro, I don't even know why I started. Do you?
Nathan, yes, I do. Nathan came up to me.
Yeah.
Our coach at that, my coach at that point, my first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, Nathan Roths, came up to me, and he said to me that he wants to learn guitar. So I was like, well, I know a guy who can teach you, and in repayment, I want you to give him Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lessons.
Yes.
And that's how it started.
Yes.
Because I wanted to get you involved in Jits. Yeah. And it made sense because it was literally like 2 or 3 Ks away from Kopo,
Yeah,
right?
like it was just around the corner.
Yeah. Did you walk there?
No, I never walked there. It was too far.
Okay, was it too far?
It was too far. I always, in my breaks, I would ask a friend that was going to the mall, or I'd find I'd make a plan.
Yeah, to get.
But I never walked there. That was
that was your first. And I mean, you had privates with Nathan.
Yeah,
I mean, how sick? Because at that point, Nathan was now no longer a white belt like when we started teaching me white belt.
Oh, my coach.
But I mean, at that point, I think he was a purple or brown belt. So I mean, he was legit.
Yeah, I think he was. I think it was purple, man.
Yeah, I think it was purple. And then you started jiu-jitsu, dude.
Yeah,
which to me was a massive thing.
But no, here's because I remember the story as this, right? You took me there to I think, I don't know what went on in your brain, but you took me there to blow my bubble, or to open up something, or to do whatever it was, right? Because I remember the first time I ever walked in there, there was a lot of people. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then I rolled Barbara.
Yes.
The blue belts.
Yeah. Barbara is a chick.
Is a girl, right?
Yes. She was sick,
and though. You put that together. You were like, oh, hey, guys. Yeah, here's my little brother. He wants to roll.
Barbara.
And then this chick walks over, and I'm like, hey. And she was pretty. And I was like, sweet. This is going to be cool.
And then she fucked your shit up.
And then smashed me.
Yeah.
Like,
because my first introduction to jiu-jitsu again was a girl, you know, Cherie, Nathan's ex-girlfriend at that point, and she also, you know, Nate eventually got me there because he'd been phoning me for months and months telling me to come and do this jiu-jitsu thing, and I wasn't interested.
This wrestling.
And then he was like, roll this chick, and I was like, come on, Nate, you know what I mean? I've done boxing and Muay Thai and, you know, close quarter combat, and I mean, like, I'm gonna fucking decimate this chick. Yeah, not on the ground, bro.
No.
Yeah. So I wanted to do the same for you. That's why go Barbara.
And then
because I wanted you to realize just how incredible it was.
Yeah, that there was no way, bro. There was no way, no strength, no. I can understand it now.
Yes,
but at that time it was like, you know, they talk about that jiu-jitsu is like drowning.
Yeah,
yeah.
You were drowning,
bro. And no one told me nothing. The only thing that I had was your late nights when you used to come back from jiu-jitsu and be like, yo, I want to try this thing out with you. Yeah. And then you like throw your little brother around and then like put him in an armbar. And
Such fun times.
I'd be like, oh, what the hell, man? I was like, yo, that's cool.
Yeah. You had no clue.
And then, yeah, of course, you put me against Barbara, the blue belt. And then she was just like, she just walked through me. We started on her knees. And like any cool, strong, independent man, right? I went in straight.
Yeah, for a rugby tackle.
I went in for a rugby tackle. Yeah. I'm gonna beat her, man. I got this.
Guillotine.
And she legitimately, like, I went in. She opened her guard, probably put like a hook sweep in or some form of just. I think all she had to do was change her angle. I was going just straight, right? And I just fell over. She mounted me, and I was like, "I'm gonna turn out of this," like every moron does. Turned. Yeah. She like opened up, and I spun underneath her. She took my back, turned me over, and choked me. And I was just like, wait, I wasn't ready. Wait, something went in my eye. I got a cramp like in my hernia. And then I did it again, and she just smashed me, kept on smashing me. And I think that I really do feel like you guys made like a little joke out of it. Like you were all standing around, which you weren't, you were all rolling, but in my mind you were all standing around, pointing and laughing
at me. We weren't. And I mean, I knew she was going to smash you, so I just carried on rolling because I was there to roll as well.
Yeah, I was getting like, that's an ego, like, destroyer.
It is the best thing. You know, I remember when I left Nate, I went and trained with Mark Herbert at Guerrilla Warfare. And I remember sitting there, and for some reason, you know, maybe because we were with Colin at Hotbox. I mean, he's of course one of the best boxing instructors in the country, right? I mean, seriously. And we used to get a lot of guys walking in there, like really big guys, man, like, you know, tattoos and muscles. I mean, I got ink, so I mean, I'm not putting it down, but you know, that quintessential big jock bodybuilder guy, you know, and he'd walk up to Mark and be like, hey, yo, you know, like, I want to try this shit.
And of course, because now EFC is starting to
yeah, of course, like at that point,
bit, it becomes something.
And Mark would always be like, okay, go roll that guy. And there's little 71 kg me, or 72 kg me sitting there in my Buddha position, doing my Buddha sits and just relaxing. And I'd be like, here we go. But
listen, those guys have got strength, man.
No, but it's 3 minute gas. It's a 3 minute gas tank. But why did Mark do it? Mark did it for the exact same reason I made you roll with Barbara. Yeah. Because it's to prove a point. It wasn't so much, it was a little bit of an ego bash, you know, because all I needed to do is outlast these guys for 3 minutes. The gas tank drops, and then it was my turn, and then, you know, I'd start imposing my will, because I can't impose my will on a 120 kg guy
who is strong
for the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. But then it also helps with them with I think in a fighting environment, and because of all like the Joe Rogan stuff and being part of small fight camps, not saying big or anything like that, it's important who you have around.
Yeah.
So if you destroy someone
and they stay,
yeah, that's someone you can work with, man. Yeah. Someone that will go with you to the dark places, and he'll help you out if he's good, or, you know, he'll go through those ups and those downs. The fight game's terrible, man. Like, it's amazing for people, but like, I think that they're
fucking lunatics,
the bravest human beings out there, man, to get put in a cage like that, and now you're gonna have to do like that.
I don't think that anybody who has not been in that or been part of it, I even think being part of it, you can't understand the psychology. You have to be in it to understand the psychology. You are preparing yourself for somebody who wants to, and whose goal is to potentially put you in hospital.
Yeah. That the idea is to hurt you.
To hurt you.
That is.
That's not synchronized swimming.
No.
And I've seen throughout my years, man, I've seen some of the most incredible club fighters. So in club, in training camp, the best sparrers, the best jiu-jitsu guys, I mean, just incredible human beings, fall to absolute shit the night of the fight.
Yeah.
Just completely. And then you get other guys who are really not the best, right? Like in class.
Yeah.
But on that night, man, they step up.
Yeah.
And it's all the psychological game that you have to play with yourself.
It's ridiculous.
And I believe that a competition mind, just like what you had to go through for your music, and we can discuss that now, but I think a competition mind is something that can be developed, but an ultimate competition mind is something you're born with. And I'll give you an example, right? Dino, just trying to think of his surname now. I know so many Dinos. Not Dino Brazzoni. Nevertheless, I'll come to me now. I black belt now, right? Dino fought in the EFC, the calmest oak you've ever seen in your whole life. Like 30 minutes before a fight, EFC night, like earphones in, lying upside down with his feet up, sleeping. Just sleeping. You know, I mean, he's fought, for argument's sake, and beat Chris Bryant in a jiu-jitsu competition. You know, and Chris is goddamn good.
No, he's...
And do I believe that he's as good as Chris? I don't.
Yeah.
Do I believe that he has the most incredible competition mind?
Like I said, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm bringing that back now. Now we talk about your first gigs.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yes.
Where were your first gigs?
All right. So I think the first time I ever got on stage was... So I've been playing guitar and stuff in my room, like, and trying to sing back in the day. Like, yeah. 13-year-old voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Winning. And I kept it going. Then I didn't do anything live, ever. and then I went to Copa, and I played church stuff.
Yes,
but
you played church stuff.
That's a little bit scary, but nothing. You learn. I think I learned more about the politics in church than I did about being on stage.
Okay. Politics meaning band politics.
Band politics, being controlled by a hierarchy, what can and cannot be done, how to look, what to wear, how to speak, when not to speak, like the amount of crap, that it is. Because a lot of the times you have a guy who's in charge who legitimately has no idea about music, right? And I think this is why they create like the band leaders and the guys like that. And I think it's a good idea because you need the guy to take the crap from the bigger guy. Yeah. Yeah. You need the guy to be like, yo, elder, or however you're going to say it, right? You're wrong.
Yeah.
You can't say it like that because in music that just doesn't work. I know you have this idea and I can see you imagining it, but it won't work. So I learned a lot of politics, like how to react with people, and also I learned a lot of like if someone walks in and you can just see that they're off vibes, you know, they're not there. They something's happened, and you get, especially at the age of like 15, 16, 17, man, you know, your life is only about you. You're very self-involved, right? Yeah, self-centered. So seeing that, and listen, when I walked into churches back then, and I was in Copa, I was like, I had ego. I was like super ego like. One of my best friends, Corne, from Mark, he used to play in the band, and he left the band because of me. Like we hated each other.
You asshole.
I know, we hated each other. Like it was like right up there. Like I was a super dick.
Yeah, that's why I took you to Jiu Jitsu.
I was a proper dick, and it's because in Springs I was this really good guitar. Oh man, and it's just so pathetic.
But in hindsight, you were young and you didn't know any better.
Yeah, and and I feel like sometimes you need to go through that self-involved little thing to learn. Okay, so going back, I did some church stuff, but that wasn't too intense. And then I kind of fell away from the church, and then I started going to pubs and stuff, which is a lot more fun. Right?
They don't serve tequila in church.
Listen, truthfully, right? It's a lot more fun. Okay, and then I went out with you for the first time. The first time I started going out with you specifically. And that was about the same time that people were like, oh, hey, Huntley's brother. And then there was a karaoke night at the Terrace.
Okay.
And there was a chick singing, blonde hair. I don't know who she is or what her name is. And you said, oh, it's because it was karaoke night.
Yes.
Sing with a girl. I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. And you're like, go, man. So I think we did Seether. So I said, I'm not going to sing alone. Can we do like a duet?
Yes.
Right. I don't know these people.
No, of course not.
Me. And like in church, you know the people. Huh? Here now you have to play in front of people I don't know.
Yeah.
What the hell is this thing now?
This is a stupid thing.
What? So now, then we went up and I did that, and it was cool. It was like reasonably like good. Then I went to another pub around about the same time, also in Copa, playing guitar, learning and trying to become something. And there was a guy playing guitar and doing karaoke. So it was like he would karaoke guitar, you know, use his guitar on the songs he played, and then he put his guitar down, and then he would like ask people to do karaoke and stuff. And one of my friends walked up to him. There's always that one guy, hey, my friend can play guitar like really well. And the guy was like, that happens so much.
Stay true.
Yeah. So please let my friend play. And then I think this guy was just like, he's been doing it for so long. I think he just didn't care anymore. And he was just like, yeah, I'll call your friend. Whatever. I don't care.
This is going to be terrible.
Yeah. So I like grabbed this guy's guitar, and it's the first time, right? Now I'm about to play guitar in front of people for like the first time. And I grab the guitar and I look up, right? And I realize that I'm about to play guitar
for
people for the first time, right? And the only other thing I'd done before that, which was super scary, was the like I Eisteddfod. I did a songwriting Eisteddfod.
Yeah, that's right, for school.
For school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was about it. And then I sat there and I played a Jason Mraz song. So I went from like, I'm not going to play, to playing like a reggae Jason Mraz song because I loved the song. Proper reggae, like in proper chords and the way I would actually still play it today.
Yeah.
Like exactly like that. And the guy was like, yo. Yo. And then of course my Afrikaans was like, told you so. Play another one.
You gotta love your buddies, eh?
Yes.
They believe in you more than you believe in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was that, dude.
Yeah.
Then at what point now did you form Van Smith?
Okay. Then in college I started a band called Blue Tree.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I had that fallout with that drummer.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And after we did that, I started in an Afrikaans rock band as just a lead guitarist called Crowd Riot.
Yes. And Crowd Riot was like, I mean,
they were
semi well known.
They were cool here in Springs. They were known quite well in Boxburg, and it was fun not to have to do much except play guitar and be awesome there.
Yes.
You know? And there I learned to be on stage.
Okay.
So I think I call it like the 4 levels.
All right.
All right. The 4 levels of being scared of something that you're doing. All right. So the first level is, hell no, I'm not going to do this. This terrifies me. That's level 1. So guitaring about being on stage. Okay. The 4 levels about being on stage. But like you can move it over to places, but the 4 levels.
Yes.
So the first one is, I'm terrified. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
No way. The second version is, I'm terrified, but I'm doing it. And that's okay. Right? Then the third level is, I have got used to this, and being afraid is something that doesn't last very long on stage. So it disappears. And then the 4th stage is, I'm in love with being on stage. Being scared doesn't matter, because getting on stage in front of 7,000 people, 8,000 people, you're going to be nervous.
Yes, of course. Even if you're not nervous, there's something wrong with you.
But then you sit there and you go, I love being on stage so much
that it overrides it.
That I can deal with being afraid for the first 3 seconds before I start. And then the moment that you start, boom, you're in, and it's very cool.
Yeah. And those align directly with being incompetently incompetent. Yeah, it is, right? Incompetently incompetent.
Yeah.
Incompetently incompetent, competently incompetent, and so the levels go until you're competently competent. Yeah, absolutely. Because, well, it is. Exactly.
You just lost all the people. They were like,
but when you don't know that you don't even know,
yes.
If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Right up to the point where you know that you know, and that's when like, so almost like in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, you know, they say when you become a black belt, then you start again. You know, your journey starts from the word dot.
Yeah.
And I never understood that until now. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, now that I'm a very, very high level brown belt, at least technically, right, I get it.
Yeah.
I get the dissecting of it. And now you get to go on stage in that competently competent stage. So I know what's going to happen. I know I'm going to be nervous. You know, I know everything that's going to happen. Because how many times have you played on stage, bro?
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
thousands.
It's been a lot now.
Thousands.
Yeah, it's been a lot
thousands.
now.
So nevertheless, we completely digressed here.
With all the competently competentants.
Where were we? Van Smith.
Yeah. So I was in Crowd Riot, and that's where I met Willie.
Yes.
Willie jumped in. Willie played for a really cool Afrikaans rock band
Willie van
called
Tonde.
Teerpad.
Yay, dope.
Bro, and these oaks were like the metal version of like Afrikaans music. They were sick. They had people like doing crazy mosh pit stuff. It was psycho. Like they were super cool. And he moved up here. He also had his massive journey in music.
Yeah.
Man, that guy's got a story. He's got a massive journey. And that's where we met. And I was still, even though I was playing the rock, Afrikaans rock, I still loved the folky stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
Jason
that
Mraz-y.
chilled vibe stuff, and I'd still always do that. then I left Quiet Riot and I was like, you know what? But I'm going to do this myself and I'm going to play guitar and I'm going to use a little stomp box. So I built a little stomp box thing instead of just using the kick from the drum kits. I used the tom. I was a moron. I get it. Right? So dumb. Right? But it was small. You could pack it into things. And then I did that. And then Willie said to me, he was like, yo, bro, listen, if you're playing, I want to play with you. Yeah. And I was like...
And he is one of the sickest bassists I've ever heard in my life.
And I was like, let's try this out. So we got together for a band practice. We've sang together in Quiet Riot, but this time I was leading. And I sang, and this oak like sings with me, and it was almost like you just get it. It's like he just sang so perfect with me.
He can harmonize.
He was the guy who taught me how. Sheesh. Like not even Coper could teach me the way that guy did. He was just like, no, bro, don't even stress about it. And he has that golden ear thing.
Yeah.
All the musicians know which I'm talking about. The golden ear, we hate it. The guys that can just hear shit.
Yeah.
The rest of us have to struggle. And he's just like, no, it goes like this. Boom. And then he sings it and you're just like, I've been trying to do that for an hour.
Fuck you. I hate you.
He's so good. Like so good. And we were smashing it, man. We were doing shows that were making people at that time that I didn't know happy. Yeah. Like super happy. People were like happy. And we didn't know what was going on. We were just, well, I didn't know. Maybe Vili did. But I knew that we were just playing these shows and people were responding in a good way.
Absolutely.
And it was cool. And then all of a sudden we started doing festivals and it got a little bit bigger. And then the dynamic of being on stage changes the moment things get bigger.
Yeah.
Like,
of course. You're going from
I'm sitting in a pub next to Vili, and then all of a sudden Vili is now sitting like 3 meters away from me. And I'm like, yo,
my buddy.
Like a minute later, he's like, hey.
Yeah, because I mean, your first, what was your biggest, what was your first really big festival you played? KKK, yeah.
The Klein Karoo Kunstfees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, but listen, but it's a goddamn big festival.
It was so big. Yeah, we played it with Quiet Riot, but it was the first one that I did by myself with Willie. And that's where we met.
Yes.
Reino
van der Linde.
Yeah. So we walked on stage and we did what we do and we made people happy. And I know Reino and Willie knows Reino because he lives here with us on the East Rand.
Yeah.
And he was also in a rock Afrikaans band at that time. So we all kind of knew each other. And Reynolds like walked up to us one night and he said, yo, can I play drums with you? Now, because we knew him, I was like, yes, please.
Yeah, because, I mean, just for everybody listening, Reino is on another planet of drum.
Also a really good Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioner.
Really good.
Like, so good.
Yeah.
That's also a cool story.
Yes.
But we'll do it for the next podcast. So much. And he joined us. And I never in my life have I felt something that cool. We were on stage in front of live people, playing with a drummer we've never played for like before.
Yeah.
Nothing. He had heard us set once because he was the guy doing the sound for us.
Okay.
And I'd never. It was one of those ridiculous moments where I get goosebumps now when I think about it. Just he sat down, and the first time I used the kick with, and I don't know why I did that. Like
probably habit.
Yeah, it was just habit or something. Yeah. And to be honest, that guy was more on time with me than my foot was. Right?
Yeah.
That's like how good he was. Well, I'm playing with myself, and like if you no, I'm playing guitar, right? and I'm the one using the kick, so I can stay with my own groove. And he was more on my groove than I was. Yeah. It was so stupid. And we destroyed that show. It was so good. The people were loving it, right? We were also just kind of making things up as we go along. And he was just kind of just like, oh, you guys are going down now? Because, music's all about building and breaking and building and breaking. And if you understand that, it's easy to play with people. And of course, the level of Reino and Willie is just so Like they're so high. In musical abilities, I was the third best in our band, right? And then Villy came with his amazing golden ear and his brilliant bassist, and then Rainer with just like, there's very little drummers that I know that can do things, and me as the guitarist and Villy are like, where are you? Where are you? And he's in time, but it's just so, like, I can't play anything. Like I get like weird hand, like and then he hits the one again, and you're like, oh my word, that was amazing. So we are killing car. All right, our name explodes through the place. Super cool. And one of the big, cool, really awesome places to play at, one of their bands didn't go, and it was on a really good night.
Big stage. Hundreds of people, because it's still car. It's still small places. There's thousands of people in car. Yeah, but you've got your
taking over like a village.
Yeah.
So the pubs are smaller. So hundreds of people in here, and the guy phones up Villy and he says, "Yo, we just lost one of our bands. We've watched you play. We want you guys." So we're like, okay. And now I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to just a kick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I experienced.
Yeah.
So me and Villy like run over to Reno.
You go.
Yeah. And we're like, yo, we got a really good slot tomorrow night on a Saturday night at Lemon and Lime, which is the place. I think it's called Lemon and Lime. I can't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
And we need you, bro. This time I'm throwing the kick away, right? And we're gonna smash it. And he was like, let me see what I can do. And somehow we made it happen. And then we killed that show. And Rainer was just like, I'm in. And I was like, I know that. What are you talking about? And that's how Van Smith started. Quite a story, but yeah, that was how Van Smith started.
Yeah.
And then we worked.
Yeah.
And we grafted. We were on the road every single weekend.
Yeah.
And just
and I don't think people quite understand just how hard it is to be a working musician. You know, I've had some incredible people on the podcast, and I've learned the terminology, you know, working actor, you know, like Brandon Orette would say, you know, like really I'm just out there doing it all the time. And that is to say that I don't make enough money once off. I need to work at it every single time. And that's what you guys were. I mean, you know, Jesus, but in 1 year, how many kilometers did you guys travel? I remember you did it for the...
Yeah, we did it.
Can't you remember? It was ridiculous, but it was well over 100, well over 120 or 130,000 kilometers.
Yeah,
that you guys did in a year.
It was mad. We were going from Cape Town up into Mpumalanga, doing festivals there. Then we'd come back. It was madness. Yeah. It was madness. No,
it's ridiculous. And then, I mean, and you guys did release an album, which is still available on iTunes, is it?
Yeah.
Still? Yeah, the Van Smiths, it's Gone With The Wind, right?
With the Wind.
Oh, With the Wind. Sorry, not Gone. With the Wind. Hey, but it's such a long time ago. Gone With The Wind.
It is.
Which is still available on iTunes, and you guys got signed by a dodgy record company who didn't live up to their promises, who really screwed you guys over. And I don't want to go into that now because I mean it is what it is. But I mean, you released a really, really, really good album.
Yeah, man. When I look back on the album, even back then, I'm 100% sure. Like, and I say this with absolute confidence, right? I'm 100% sure if any of us had a little bit more money in the bank, and we could have created that albums ourselves. So Villy is an incredible sound engineer as well. We'll talk about that golden ear thing. If he had put that album together,
it would have been so much better.
I 100% think it would have been so much better. But there was just so much politics again, and things once again, like a lot of stuff I learned from it.
Yeah.
And you could say it's a cool learning experience, and I will take that, but it was still bullshit.
Yeah,
the whole thing was bullshit.
Yeah. And I mean, it was your dreams. Eh?
Yeah, I wanted to kick a calf, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I really did.
No, it was your dreams, and they crushed it, and they played with your dreams, and it really, really, really wasn't cool. And you can write it off to a learning experience, but it still sucks at the same time.
Yeah, all at the same time. You're just like, nah.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah, and then due to life I mean, really, I'm going to put it down to life. And I mean, Reno got married, you know, had a bambino, well, has a bambino now. Same with Vili, got married, had a bambino. You know, they needed, the band needed to split up, because you cannot sustain 3 band members and 3 families on a band salary. It's impossible. Not in this country.
Yeah.
Not in this country, which is really sad. And it's at that point that you decided, right, motherfuckers, I'm going to solo this shit.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, as a band breakup goes, which it doesn't even feel like it was that.
No, it wasn't.
It was a conversation where we sat down as a band, and Vili opened up, and he was just like, I have a kid on the way.
Yeah.
And I can't do this. And from our end, not all it's humanly impossible to be upset about that.
No,
it's
of course you
like
can't.
it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
It was like, I understand fully.
Yeah.
Go do it, bro. I just go.
Well, the difference is you were uniquely in the position where you could continue, right?
Yeah, which is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, but neither Reno nor Vili could do that.
Yeah.
Most certainly not.
So then at the same conversation, I said to them, 100%. They said, we'll slow down the shows and we'll have a lot less while I get this and while I start doing this business and I was like, cool. And we still played 1 or 2 shows after that conversation.
Yeah.
But I said to them, well, that's fine, but I'm not good at anything else. I can't now go and be an accountant. Okay. All right.
You suck at that.
Really bad. I can't go write anything because I can't spell, right? Yeah. Let's not talk about it, Cam.
Okay.
So, no. And then I told them I'm going to carry on. Okay. At this point, I'd become a fan of Jeremy Loops, right? I was a fan of his. I liked what he did.
Yeah.
And,
artistically.
And the same as what he did, what we did with this whole podcast thing is the same I did with my music. I looked at him and I went, dude, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. That doesn't seem very complicated.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I could do this.
Yeah.
And then I started the looping thing, but of course I try to do something different. Because I like Jeremy Loops, what he was doing, I started looking at other looping artists and what they were doing, and then I find a little nick, like a little something that no one's doing.
Yeah,
right?
that's just uniquely Jaryd.
Yeah, that when I do it, right, and a musician watches, he goes, okay, that's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
Just to a point. He doesn't have to like my music or anything.
He just has to respect what you've executed.
The fact that I pull off what I do live was good. And then, of course, I started the career, restarted everything.
Yeah. Started
the music back in Springs again, just like it did at the same pub that me and Vili started at.
Yeah.
And I started again. And then I was back down to like 600 Rand a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
A week. It's less than 4,000 Rand a month.
Yeah.
I was back down to that, and I was just like, damn it.
I remember this conversation.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Like, come on. At least we were making something in Van Smith, and it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
But
it's more than 600 Rand a week.
But then now all of a sudden I've gone backwards. And now I'm not playing those big shows anymore. Right? Now it's no more Van Smith.
Yeah.
Now it's Jaryd whatever. I'm like, I didn't have a name for myself. I was trying to figure out things. Like, I was like, I'm going to do this. And
you didn't have a plan.
I didn't have no plan. I was just like, I'm going to do this. And like always, when it comes to me, the musical side of it got a lot better than the business side and the getting out there and playing side. And the music was like, boom, on form.
Yeah.
And yeah. That's how the Jaryd Smith project started, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Yeah, as a solo artist. I remember you coming back and being really frustrated. And I said to you, bro, you've got to give it a shot.
Yeah.
You've got to go. And you've got to give it absolutely everything.
We had that conversation, I think it was 2 years ago. This is my 3rd year of Jaryd Smith, right? So the first year.
Yes, the first year.
The first year of the Jaryd Smith project. Me and you sat down and we had a conversation. And I said, dude, I've been doing this for a long time, right? I haven't made it at all. I'm not making good money out of this. Nothing good is coming out of this right now, right? At what point do you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like legitimately the hardest conversation I've had with anybody, because the thought of going to go somewhere else was terrifying. Like doing something else, oh man, I was just like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Well, this is your passion.
Yeah. Like it was weird. I had the conversation because it was the right conversation to have.
Yes, of course.
But I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And then I said to you, let's give it a year. But then let's give it a year. Let's work. Let's see if I can do something like that. And that year was the first time that I made a lot of money. Now, for me in the music industry,
a lot of money.
A lot of money isn't a lot, but there was the most return that I've ever had. That was the first year that I could have my holiday, like a holiday.
Yeah.
That I could go and have like a holiday. And then it was stupid, because then by that point I'd made friends where I was going to go have holiday and got shows there.
Yes.
And made more money on the holiday. And it was ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, let's give props out to Sean from S43, because I mean,
S43,
I've spoken to him on Nicholas Gregoriadis' podcast. I spoke about him.
Yes.
Because I met him at S on Tap, because I was wearing a Jiu Jitsu t-shirt, and he's a Jiu Jitsu guy.
And he was like, hey.
Yeah, hey.
Do you know the shirt you're wearing? What? No.
And we became awesome mates. And I mean, he has the sickest restaurants, S43 in Durban.
Yeah,
and
he's got 3.
Yeah, 3. But
I won't be able to name them though.
No. No. Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
But and then we go on holiday, and you end up playing a gig there.
Yeah.
And you also played there for S on Tap, right?
Yeah. So S on Tap's on Friday, and then I'll go through and I'll go play on S on Tap's on the Saturday, and I'll go through and play on like the Friday night.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, whichever way it works out.
So now you decide that you want to release a new album, which is called Charcoal Sketching, but under the Jaryd Smith Project, because now we've just named that right now.
Yeah.
Well, it never was the Jaryd Smith Project, right?
No, but it was a project at the time. Yeah.
No, but I like it, the Jaryd Smith Project, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you decide now you want to absolutely go ahead and release an album.
Yeah.
And that's how the fight started.
So I'm trying to scam myself into some money here, right? Because I decide that I'm going to do everything myself.
Yeah. Self-produce,
self-write, and then get a
and
record
also
label.
play. So just so people understand it, every single instrument.
Yeah, 95%.
Okay, except for
bass lines, and then like 1 or 2 like banjos and stuff where I wasn't around, and my really awesome producer at the time was like, "This needs this," and he was like, and just put it in. Yeah.
Okay, so 95% of the album is you.
90. Let's know, like 90 or 95.
Okay,
but I don't want to take nothing away from the producer. He was like so cool. And okay, so I decide that I'm gonna now create a project. I'm like, I'm going to create a CD. I'm gonna get it out there myself, right? The cool thing about where the entertainment area is going now is that you can do things yourself.
Yes.
Right, you can put things out, and you can put your stuff on iTunes by yourself. You can put a podcast on iTunes yourself. You don't have to you can do it, right?
The barrier to entry for artists or for artistically, God, and I'm no artist, okay, because my podcast isn't artistic, but nevertheless, it is, yeah, call it what you want, but the barrier to entry for us is completely diminished. Do you know what I mean? I'm very, very fortunate that I had you. But you know me, if I had the money, I would have done it myself in any case.
Yeah.
And I would have sucked spectacularly, but I still would have done it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it was just
it would have taken a lot longer to get to this point.
Yes, it would, most without a doubt. But it can still be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. So, getting the stuff on iTunes, all of that is the end goal. Once you have the product,
now you need the product.
I need the product. I'm like, I can do this. I just need money, right? I need some damn money. So I start talking to bar owners that I know, and I say, yo, people that I know, that I play for, that I know are doing well. I wouldn't go like to the smaller bars and stuff like that, to bigger places. And I'd say to them, yo, can we make like a little financial thing where you give me this much, and those are as many shows as I need. So let's say you give me 20,000 rand for argument's sake,
speaking, yeah.
And I will play at your place for the next year, once a month. And I was willing to take the punch. So we're chatting, and I'm talking to this person, I'm talking to this person. Now I'm not hunting, I'm talking to people that I know.
Yes.
Right?
Hey, bro, this is networking. Bro.
Yeah,
There's nothing to feel bad about, bro.
No. But what I'm saying is, I'm not shouting it over the mic at shows.
Oh, I see what you're
stuff,
saying.
Right?
Yeah.
So
private conversations.
I'm having private conversations with people. At this point, the only people that really know is like you, the family, and one or two mates. But that's it. Like, I'm on my own little mission trying to figure this out. One day, I'm playing in Middelburg at a restaurant, and I'm having this same conversation with this guy because he's well off, and we are having a conversation, and he was like, we'll think about it. We'll talk about it. I was like, the owner of the place, I was like, we'll talk about it. Okay. So I'm like, fantastic. So I go and I play the show, right? And there's people out in the crowd and everyone's enjoying it. And I do what I do, and I'm trying to make people happy. Nonetheless, no matter what my situation is, got to make you happy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the goal.
That's the goal. The goal is that you walk out there and you smile. Yeah, fight happens after my show.
Yeah, okay. There's never a fight in your show.
In my show.
Ever.
Okay, there has been one. Okay. In the Van Smith show, it was 2 girls. It was good. Yeah, we were like, woo. Yeah.
Throw the oil.
Billy started the theme song from Rocky. Dun, 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 dun.
Did he really? While they were rolling?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you when I knew you had made it. When I, of course, we've got a very dear friend of ours, Caroline, who owns a restaurant called Friends in Clarence.
Yeah.
And I remember being in Friends and some chick threw a bra at you, right? Yeah. I was like, he's made it. I'm so proud of him.
your time has arrived.
That's it. I was like, nevertheless, we digress.
Yeah. Damn these stories, eh?
Hey?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to where we were.
Yeah. So I play the show, and I finish the show, and this elderly gentleman calls me over, and I walk over to him, and he goes, "Hi, I'm so and so." He never, and I'm telling everyone, he never wants people to know who he is, right? I put him on the album, but I forced it. I told him, at the bottom, you're part of the thank yous, and it's gonna be there. So I walked up to this guy, and me and him start having a chat, and he goes, "What are you doing?" So I'm just honest about it. I'm like, "Oh, at the moment, I'm trying to find some cash, right, so that I can build my own album and put it out myself." And he goes, "How much do you need?" And I spitball and throw a number out there because, of course, I'm a dumbass and haven't done my research about it. Yeah. So I spitball and I throw a number out there, and he goes, "Okay, cool, you'll have it on Monday."
Damn, I remember that when you came home.
I was like lost for words. I was like,
"Thank you."
What? So he gives me the money. Now here's the thing, for all the musicians that know this, there are so many times that you play a show and you make people so happy about your show, right, that they come to you and they promise you the world.
Yes.
It's part of, I don't know what it is, what happens, but they're like, "Yeah, my cousin knows this guy who knows this other guy who knows Terry Folkveen," and you know, like it goes on, and you're just like, "Sweet, bro, thank you very much." It's like, "I'm totally gonna get you into, like, I'm totally gonna get you in," and you shake their hand and you smile and you say, "Thank you very much." He turns around, you carry on drinking, and you both forget about it.
Yeah,
because that's just the way it is. And a part of me, because of the amount of times this has happened to me, felt the same way about this conversation that I was having. I was like, this guy said to me that he was going to give me the money, and I still felt somewhere in the back of my mind that
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, right? So I've had this before.
Understandably so.
Yeah, and I'm like, no point in phoning you guys and being like, "Yo, I'm taking you out for dinner." You know? It's happening. And then true as nuts, man.
Yeah.
Monday I get a phone call. "Can I get your banking details?" That part, then I pooped myself.
That blew your mind.
All right, got the money in. I pooped myself again. All right. And I took that money and I shoved it into this album. There's a cool little recording studio just down the road.
Yeah.
And
Marcon.
And we put it together, man. And
you grafted your bloody balls off for that.
Yeah. So I got the money, and that was the end of the year. And I went on holiday with you guys.
Yeah.
And then I got back, and then in January I phoned the producer, and I was like, "Listen up, boy." And he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "I have a question for you." He says, "Yeah." I'm like, "Clarence Beer Festival. It's the end of February. It's now January.
Yeah. Can we have an album ready?
Do you think I can record an entire album in a month? Get it mastered, get it copied, made actual physical copies of them, all within this 2 months?" And it wasn't really, because we came back, late. So let's say a month and 3 weeks. And he was like, dead quiet. It was like mulling through his head. He was just like, wow. For people that don't know, right, an album is normally spanned over 6 months.
Oh, really?
6 months. So writing, right, takes a really long time.
Of course. Oh, you're talking about the whole process, not just the recording process.
I had no album at that point.
Oh, so you hadn't even written anything yet?
I had maybe 3 songs, but that was it. Hey, this thing where I'm just gonna do it, right? It'd been working for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, it takes like 6 months, and then it takes like an extra maybe 4 months for where you go back in, you listen to it, and you do finer detail changes and so on and so forth. And he was like, "Damn, dude." I was like, "Dude, I'll pay you."
I got the money.
I got the money, bro. I'll pay you. And he's like, all right, let's try it out. So within a month and 3 weeks, this is the story. This is how it would work. I would go to Marcon, record a song, right? 1 song in a day. Okay? Everything. That's from instruments to vocals to even the crazy things that I put in there, like the saxes and the harmonicas and everything.
Yeah, you did you bought a sax.
So I could put it in the album.
So you could put it in the album. And you learned how to play the sax.
Within the album.
Within the album.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. It was
Think about that.
It was ridiculous. I was crazy. I was just like, I'm going to try and do something that's mad. And I just like... There was no at that point.
Yes.
All right.
All in.
I was all in.
Balls deep.
Yeah. Yeah. So deep. And then, wow, it was, I would go record the song. And then right after that, at about 3 or 4 o'clock, I would drive home, sit down and go, okay, cool. I have to write the next song for tomorrow because I'm recording the next song tomorrow.
That's ridiculous.
That's how the album was created.
That's ridiculous.
And then the next day I would go there, give him the pre-production because I'd record it at home, right here, because it was like, because I have a small little recording studio, and then give him the pre-production. We'd put it in. He would listen to it, go, it might be a need to go a little bit faster, or maybe you should cut this part out. We'll talk about it for like 2 minutes, write it down, and a lot of the times you'd listen to it and just go, no, that's cool, let's go. And then I would go in, re-record everything with all the amazing sound and the drums and the guitars and stuff like that. And then at like around about 2 o'clock, he'd take over with the bass line, and I'd get to sit back and finally go and listen to it. So because this happened so much, by the time I got to like the 8th or the 9th song, I can't remember what I did for 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Right? Because I was running so fast.
Yes.
So when we sat down for the first time for pre-production to go and listen to the album, right, there was a moment where I shat myself because I had no idea what I was about to listen to.
I got you.
It was ridiculous. I'm sitting there going, he says the name of the song. So for now you go, so now you'll go Fields.
Yeah.
He'll say, okay, this is Fields.
And you're like, which one's Fields?
And in your head, you know what song I'm talking about,
exactly.
right? But in my head at that point, I'm like, I have no idea what this sounds like. And I got to experience my album. Like,
yeah,
for the first time. And there was points where I was like, I'm a god. And then went to Jiu Jitsu and got beat up, which is fine. No, it was...
Yeah, it was a hell of a month.
It was quite...
Well, it was a hell of a 2 months. And Clarence Beer Festival.
So the question is, did I make it, right? Because if I didn't... Because the idea was, listen, we're going to try and make it for Clarence Beer Festival, which is the last weekend in Clarence. And that's February. Where I want to have my first album launch. Can we make it? So over and above that, the day before I left to Clarence is the day that I picked up my CDs.
Yeah, I remember.
That was it. There was no more time or less time. It was
the day.
That was it. That was
and it was just the CDs. Hey, there was no T-shirts, just the CDs.
It was just the CDs at that point. That was all I had.
Yeah.
And I then decided, because I play in so many different places, that I wouldn't have one album launch. I'd have an album launch in each little town I play at.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and just sold the CDs.
Yeah.
And I got some good feedback from it, and some not like some good feedback, and some really feedback where people say what they think. And I like that as well, where someone's like, you know, I didn't like this song, and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah, you're allowed to not like
because
a song.
Truthfully, there is a song on my album that I don't like.
Yeah.
And if I had more time, and I say this all the time,
yeah,
I would have rewritten a song, but I was running out of time.
Yeah.
And I put a song in, but I mean, almost as a filler. And there are people that love that song.
Yeah.
But to me, it feels like a filler. And the next time, I'm not going to have fillers. No, screw it.
Every single song is
song is going to be, and it's got to be better than the next, than this album. I agree.
And I mean, at the end of the day, you've still self-produced. I mean, obviously, you had your producer from Markham. What is his name, by the way?
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like yes. I just hit a brain fart.
Don't worry, it happens on the podcast, dude. It really happens on the podcast.
Where?
So why are you checking? But I mean, you produced an entire album in a month and a half, and let's
Byron Miller.
Let's call a spade a spade.
He's monster.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's a flipping good album. At least 90% of the album is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you did something very, very new in terms of She-Wolf. Which is a full a cappella song, but with just an electronic bass line at the back end.
And kick,
And kick. But I mean, other than that, it's full a cappella.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an incredible song. When you play She-Wolf live, people legitimately lose their minds.
Yeah. It's hard for people to understand what looping is.
Yes.
And if I go, I'm a looping artist, and they go, cool, play, man.
Yeah.
Just play. We don't care.
Yeah.
And then I got like a really cool structure when I play, especially like if I have like a 2 or 3 hour slot. Then I really start calmly, and I don't do a lot of talking. And as I go along, I start
interacting more,
sucking people in with stupid little things I say. And I really do. If you've watched my show a lot, you'll know that there are things that I say each time, and it works, and it's good, and that's the production. If you were to see it, right?
Of course, it's just like a comedian standing on stage doing his
thing. Yeah. If you follow him across the country, you're gonna watch the same show.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was that song that I actually built so that people could understand
what looping is.
So I would take away the guitars, I'd take everything away, I'd take a mic, and I'd go, okay, I'm going to bring you into my world here. And then I would go, I'll start with the bass line. And then I'd go, dum dum dum. And I'd build it like that. And then I'd go, okay, now I'm going to add some oohs, but I'm going to add harmonies, and I'm going to show you middle harmony, high harmony, and low harmony. And I can use my hand to show them what it is that I'm doing. And I build that. And then I build the kick and then I hit the mic to create like the same as Jeremy Loops would. And I'll do that and I'll build the whole entire thing until you go, holy crap, there's a whole entire song here.
And that just happened.
Yeah. And then I do the whole, and now we add some dumb Michael Jackson vocals.
Yeah.
And the moment I say that, people are excited so much that like people in the crowd are like, and I was like, yeah, it's cool now because now you're in it. You're a part of
you've created
part
something.
Of the show.
I mean, I've legitimately seen people fucking lose their minds.
Yeah.
I mean, for anybody who hasn't seen a live show, your album is great.
Yeah.
But live, you're on a different planet.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm okay with that because I've sat down a few times and had to think about it and go, my recording ability, the being in a little box in the dark, very silent, very difficult for me to bring out.
But Jam, I mean,
what I do live.
No, absolutely, and that's not putting you down.
Okay,
and if you go and look at some of the greatest artists out there,
yeah.
their albums are great, but live they're on another.
No,
because
100%. I'm happy. I'm more happy that I'm better live than I am on because how many times is it a letdown when you do listen to a really good album
and
you go watch these people live
and they shit. Yeah.
So if my claim to fame is I'm better live, hey,
you're okay.
I'll take that in a heartbeat any day. Yeah, much better.
Okay, so charcoal sketching available on iTunes. You sell it at your shows. I think it's been really good for you. You've definitely made your return on investment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, without a doubt, that's been great. So from a music point of view now, right?
Yeah.
What's next?
What's next?
Do you even know?
Yeah, I actually have tried it. I've been really thinking.
Is there going to be a plan involved here? Or is it just this fucking Jaryd Smith winging?
Yeah, it feels like this is what I did for this album. And it actually came out very raw because of that. In that sense.
Yeah.
It was very much...
It's a good album, man.
I enjoyed it. Album. So the next one...
it's available on... Wait, it's also available on Spotify.
Right, yeah, if you have Spotify, just go check it out. It's that simple. You just go listen to it. Like it's that simple. That you can legitimately download Spotify and go and listen to my whole album for free.
Yeah.
Like it's that easy. It really is. So the next step. The next step is, I think I've almost got to that point where playing shows is not an issue anymore, right? Finding shows is also not an issue, which is a great place to be.
Yeah.
Okay, but we want to move forward the whole time. The next step I need to do is start getting a name.
Okay. Personal professional brand.
Brand?
That's what it's called. Personal professional brand.
Oh, okay, cool. Why, thank you.
I can't believe you don't know that. I feel like I've let you down. Yeah, but you're building your personal professional brand.
Yes.
Jaryd Smith.
Yeah.
As the brand.
Yeah. So now it has to be... Now I need to look more towards the social media side, which...
You hate.
I am absolutely horrible at. And maybe at some other things like... So this is where this next step is that I am now busy writing the next album as we speak. I want to put a little library together of 20, 30 songs. I want to walk into a recording label and then have it on a bit more on my terms. This is the thought pattern.
Yeah.
Right? And we've had a conversation about this. I've spoken to a few people that are part of my music career, and they're all just like, whoa, you remember what happened last time? And I do remember. Of course, yeah. I remember better than anybody else does.
Of course.
That broke me. But here's the difference is if I walk into a recording label and they give me a really bad contract and I say no, it doesn't change anything. I still have the shows. I still have everything. But I can now bargain with it. I can go, I don't need this. It will just speed everything up.
Yeah.
So a 10-year plan that I have, the 10-year plan that I have, they could break it down to 7 years.
Oh, even less, 3.
3 years, right?
3 to 5 years, yeah.
So it's all about the time, right? If they say no to me, I go, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to have to work for longer.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to make it at some point. They're just going to help me. So now the point is, are they willing to make a crap load of money out of this with me?
Yes.
And that should be the end goal. It shouldn't be, can we make you famous in South Africa? Because that's not a really good goal.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day.
CD sales for record labels, what do they make out of it?
No, but what you need is a brand that can play big shows, because that's where you make the money. I mean, if you think now, the biggest thing that bands make the money out of is the tour.
Yeah,
it's no longer the CD sales.
Playing shows, yeah.
I mean, dude, U2 literally released their last album for free.
I can't get it off, but damn iTunes, it keeps on coming back.
Can I tell you a story?
And keeps on fighting me.
Keeps on fighting me. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I absolutely loved U2, and I do love U2.
Yeah.
Okay, I do. But with the advent of iTunes forcing that fucking album in my face, right, I've gone off them.
Yeah.
Literally, I've gone off them. Just like there's a few people who I won't follow from a corporate point of view because they started doing Facebook adverts. They're pushing this shit in my face. I didn't ask for that. I joke. But still. No, you two fucking irritated me, dude. Yeah. But my point is, there's guys that are crowdfunding albums. Yeah. There are guys that are releasing albums for free.
Yeah.
This platform that we are literally discussing right now, this digital media platform, has fucking changed the world, and it's changed how people make money.
And now the big thing is, right? Now the big thing is the consumer, right? Because you wouldn't believe it, but without the consumer, right, I can't sell a product. Weird, eh?
But it is. Yeah.
It's so true. And I think as like, if I could say one thing to South Africa, and there isn't like a lot of things I want to change. I don't want to be that guy who wants to change things, and I want to play my music, and I want to make people happy, man. That's what I want to do. And I want South Africa, right, just to look in as well. You can carry on looking out at what
the rest of
the world's doing. You can get your musical influences from there. But you don't understand the music scene in South Africa. It is so diverse. Yeah. It is so cultured. There is so many good bands out there. How bad is this? We're as South Africa, we love Goldfish, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves them. Do you know that they had to go overseas first before we even gave a shit?
In the majority of instances, yes. Not me.
No,
but in the majority of instances, yes. They were. You're right. They went to international.
They had to go international first. Now we sit and we're like, Goldfish is like, you weren't even part of it, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You weren't part of it. And there's so many bands out there. There are.
I'm very fortunate in the fact that, personally speaking, you know, you and I've always loved music, and you know that. And you're a passionate musician, and we always delve into different music. You know, it's been something that we've done from day dot, you know, and we're always finding these people. So we followed Goldfish from day dot.
Yeah.
But to me, there's nothing cooler in the world, and it's happened to me 3 times, right? Goldfish, the Parlotones, and Timo ODV, right? Where I listen to a song on the radio or I hear it and I'm like, God damn it, that is fucking sick. And then afterwards I'm like, oh, they're South African.
Yes.
And those are the 3 times it's happened to me. Parlotones, Goldfish, and Timo.
And there's so many guys out there that you don't expect to be South African because of how good our quality is.
Majosi.
Yeah.
Good gracious me. You listen to Majosi and you're just like, what the fuck? That's incredible.
No, there's more. And the cool thing is, a few years ago, right, it was, you were reliant on what the radio stations were playing.
Yeah, now we've got YouTube.
And some of the smarter guys would find it on the internet. And the guys that were clever enough to put it there would put it there, right? But it's so simple now.
Yeah.
It's so simple now to look inwards into South Africa and go, what's happening? Where can we... What can I look at that? Can I look at that? And be honest about it. In each genre of music, you're going to get the bad stuff of it.
Of course. And the good stuff.
And the good stuff, right? Because a lot of English guys will be like, I'll never listen to Afrikaans music. And then you put a folk off song on and they lose their minds with it. But it's an Afrikaans song, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's not about the language or the genre or anything like that. You're going to find some crappy stuff in that genre,
of course,
and you're going to find some really good stuff in that genre. So it has to be the same with South Africa. You have to understand that there are incredible bands out there, so good. And I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about other bands that I watch and I'm like,
yeah, wow, yeah,
this is amazing.
Who's your favorite band at the moment?
My favorite band at the moment, right? There's a few. I got Lone Hill Estate has come back into they fell off, and they've come back into this place. And I watched their show the other day for the first time, and I was just like, wow, that guy's probably a better front guy than I am. He's so good. Like, their lead guy is so good. I'm a big fan of Rubber Duck because I'm good friends with him. I'm a big fan of Majosi.
Yeah.
Because
we're gonna have Majosi on the podcast. I
think he's an incredible human being.
Yeah, you and me both.
I have unfortunately not been able to meet. Wow, good times.
You should go blank.
Yeah, Matthew Mole.
Matthew Mole.
I haven't met him. I've heard really good things about him. Probably like the nicest musician.
And I think what it also comes down to, and you know, if you listen to what you're saying, and I don't know them as well as you do, but I know of them. Every single musician you're talking about there, right? In addition to being wildly talented, are also really nice human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's one or two musicians that I have completely gone off, and I've deleted all their music off my because they're dicks and because they're arrogant, fucking egotistical pricks. And it's not necessary to be a doers. No. Rule number 1 of the podcast: don't be a doers. It's not necessary. Yes. You know, in a world where social media is so big and where people talk so big, right? I think it's detrimental to you. I think in the old days, you know, you could be this rocker and this real arrogant arsehole. Now guys are just like, oh, you want to be arrogant? Fine, I'll listen to somebody else.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah. You know, especially in the millennial. And
some guys can pull it off, man. Because you look at like John Mayer, right? Everybody knows that he's just an ass, but his talent overrides it, and you're just like, damn.
Oh really?
This guy's so really? Yeah. No, he's. But then you're talking about
Yeah, but you're talking on another.
Yeah.
You're talking on another.
Just check your computer, homie.
Oh, battery's running low. Carry on talking.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed watching South African music, like almost like expand the amount of. You're having fun there. Yeah, it's so hard to speak when you're not sitting in front of me.
No, you can't.
I've heard it a few times on your podcast when you get up and move, and the guy starts changing his voice, and I just did that.
You did, and then
yeah. So like I was saying,
that's amazing, and this is coming from you. Hey, it's weird, eh?
It's so weird.
Listen to me. Can I tell you a story? Sorry, we'll go back to your story now.
Very important.
But I literally saw you doing a little bit of a weird walk this morning. And you've been on stage many times, and this morning.
But I do the weird walk before stages as well.
Okay, you did this like weird walk around, and I was like, "Are you excited for the podcast?" And you're like, "Yeah."
I have to like.
Bro, this is very different. Eh?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
This is very weird.
For sure. Even when I've done radio interviews, I can't say.
You don't dig it, eh?
Yes, man.
Yeah. But this one's easy for you.
No. This is a conversation. This is not an interview.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to what you were saying. Sorry, Jam.
What were we talking about?
How amazing about a musician.
Oh, yeah. John Mayer. He's just one of those guys. And some guys can pull it off. You've said this to me many of a time, right? The world needs them.
No, the world needs dicks.
Yeah, the world needs
narcissistic people.
Yeah, the world needs
narcissistic CEOs.
And the world needs them.
I'm saying I like it. No. But it's true.
No.
They changed the world.
We don't like it, but it is the way it is. You can't think that Elvis Presley was all perfect.
Yeah,
it's an impossibility. At some point, he must have done something, some really fucked up shit.
Yeah.
To get where he got, and he's changed the rock scene. You know, it kind of grew from there, and things really started. Well, the pop rock scene kind of grew from there, right? And it's not the rock scene. That was more the Jimi Hendrix and them that built that. Yeah. All I want is that the South Africans need to know that there is incredible music
in South Africa,
and a lot of the stuff that they're listening to is like like exactly like you said. I'll play a song to a friend, and I'll enjoy it, and he'll enjoy it, and he'll go, "Who is this?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's just a South African guys," and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, and it's happening more and more and more.
What?
You know, we spoke about John Flismus and I on the last podcast. We spoke about the ceiling that South Africa had pre in the apartheid days. Now, you obviously you grew up later than that.
Yeah.
But what you've grown up with is this complete international exposure.
Yes.
You know, so whereas for me, you know, we still had like the bad music. I mean, because you and I are a little bit different in terms of age. I'm old as balls. But yeah, I mean, we still had some of the really shit music, you know, where these South Africans had this ceiling where we didn't have the international, you know, but...
You guys talking about Steve Hofmeyer, right?
We were talking about Steve Hofmeyer. John really doesn't like him, man. Yeah.
I love that moment where he's like, you totally made your name singing Neil Diamond.
Yeah. Did you like
what
that?
You did.
But you guys, I mean, you've just had this influence, and the music scene is shot to the point now where you know, like I say, you know, when you first played Majosi to me, so I'm going to add Majosi into that for, right? Because when you first played Majosi to me, I was like, God, that's incredible. And you're like, yeah, you're South African. You know,
and black.
Yeah, and well, I mean that makes no difference, but yes.
No, it doesn't. It does when you hear his voice.
You don't expect it. No, you don't.
For any of the listeners, they must understand when it comes to music, right? It might just be me, but I feel like it's not. There's like no racism in music. If you're a good musician and you can play guitar, we don't care.
Yeah,
we don't. I don't care. At all. There were 3 black guys that came from Bloemfontein. Man, these 3 guys were so good, like so good.
I think
and
it's because
it makes my heart just like explode.
Yeah, but I think because you see, let's talk about your passion and then our other passion. You know, music and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, from a musical point of view, you can't bullshit.
No.
You either have the skill and the talent and put in the effort, right? Or you don't. So it doesn't matter who you are, male, female. I mean, to me, the sexiest thing on the face of the planet is a female bassist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is nothing sexier than a female bassist. Done, right? Yeah. But the same with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
There's no bullshittery.
No,
there's no fakery. You can't walk in and fake yourself through a role.
You can't. There's you're putting your talent and hard work on the line. Nothing else.
That's it.
It doesn't matter what.
And that's
you
how
look
you get
like.
judged. You get judged as you know. So you get judged if you walk into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club, right? You'll get judged on how you walk in. You know, sort of who you are, and are you dick swinging, or are you walking? No, really, like walking and dick swinging, or you walking in humble, get on the mats, get fucked up, and then turn around and go, damn, that was cool, you know, or get fucked up, walk away, and we look at the guys, he's never coming back, and it's not even that because I mean, even our club, dude, I mean, we're not hard on guys. I'm in fact the complete opposite. When you guys walk in, I'm really nice to them, and I like intentionally don't beat them up, and I'm intentionally create like a great environment, which is of course being transposed down to our purple belts and you guys as my blue belts, and we have this culture, and we've created this incredible culture, and yet we still have guys we know are going to be like, I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
because the egos can't handle it.
Yeah,
you know, and I think it's the same in music, dude.
Yeah,
I really do. I think it's the same in music. You look at Reno, dude. You know, Reno walked in here and started rolling with us. Okay, I mean, he was really bad in a little environment where there were really good guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and he just stuck it out.
Yeah.
And I think musicians are better jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah, we've spoken about this.
Yeah, we have.
Why is it
that Reno and
we get so technical about things, and we kind of find it.
Well, I'll give you props, right? Graham Belford, one of our mates, and he's just started with us on jiu-jitsu, and he turned around to me 2-3 days ago, and he was like, not putting anybody else down, right? Because also remember, you're a coach, right?
Yeah,
so you coach our juniors,
yes.
Arts 12 juniors in Springs, right? So naturally you're going to be more technical because you've been coaching for the last 3 years and you grew up with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So not putting any other blue belt down, but he was like, I rolled the other blue belts and then I rolled Jaryd. Yeah. And he was like, you are super technical. Reno, same thing. Yeah. Super technical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's this left hemisphere, right hemisphere. It's the musician in you, this artistic side that is used to taking all these notes, because that's what you're doing, and making sense of it, because I mean it's a whole new language that you have to create.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a whole new language is music that I don't understand. I can't read music. You can, but I can read jiu-jitsu.
So a cool video I watched is that musicians' brains are legitimately, I wouldn't say the only, because can't remember perfectly if it was the only, but musicians' brains physically change.
Yes.
So if you took a brain scan on anybody else, even a mathematician who also uses their brains like very closely to what we do, that doesn't even change as much. So what happens is there's like a frontal cortex.
Yeah, prefrontal cortex.
Yeah. That actually gets thicker. And what happens is because of what we do, right, we have to take information in and let it out almost instantly. Does that make sense?
So what I would believe would happen, and God, here's two non-neurosurgeons and neuroscientists talking about neuroscience, but it's probably that the plasticity of your brain as well is better. So you get to fire, your neurons get to fire quicker.
Yeah, that's what it is, because we have to keep I think because we have to keep ourselves in a certain time span, and because we have to keep ourselves in time with ourselves. So if we sing, or if a drummer plays, or if a bassist plays, you're using two different limbs, but they have to be at exactly the same point.
Yeah. Okay, but let's think about it this way, Boo. At some points, right, you're singing, right? Yeah, you're playing a guitar, and you're playing drums with your feet, correct? All at exactly the same time.
And there's one extra one that people don't know.
What's that?
So I also use my ears, and I know it sounds weird, but I also use my ears to listen to the loop so that my body can stay in time.
With your
with my loop.
With your loops.
Else it doesn't work. Yeah. So there's that extra one then. And then I also sometimes do like a little eye performance and stuff, but I've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the stuff I used to play shows with my eyes closed. Concentrate.
Yeah. But that's ridiculous. So why do you think why do you think that would be beneficial for you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
I think because of the sense that you'll give us a technique, our brains will take it in, and then we can let it out.
Okay,
I think it's
so
just,
you have the ability to assimilate. Yes.
Maybe we process the information just
differently,
a little bit quicker. Like it goes into our heads, and we go, "Oh, that makes sense," and then boom.
Yeah, and then you do it.
And because when we're playing guitar and we're always pushing ourselves, we're going, take this information and try and get it right. So we go, information, again, trying to get it right, information, trying to get it right. And then when you give us something in like jiu-jitsu and stuff, we take the information in and then we try and get it right.
Yes.
So we do the exact same thing.
Because that's what you practice to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, you went on this based on a podcast, right? Sorry, based on a book that I gave you by Angela Duckworth called Grit.
Yeah.
Okay? And we talk about training with intent, or training with a purpose, right? And you took this to the nth degree in terms of your music, right? But I can see a direct correlation between you practicing with intent in your music and that correlating through to your jiu-jitsu. Because in the last while, you've gotten really, really good and like really technical.
Thanks,
so
man.
I don't know if it's a direct correlation. Look, Boo, we've got a whole group of guys that are at your level in the club, 6 all blue belt 4 stripes, and they're all fucking sick, man.
Yeah, they're
so
ridiculous.
I'm not putting you above anybody else.
No. Those guys.
But the one difference is you teach.
They smash me.
You teach. So I'm not saying that you're a better roller. I'm saying that you're very technical. That's what I'm saying.
I'm okay with that.
So shall we switch gears?
Yeah.
Okay.
Switch gears. Go.
Last year, October, you and I have a conversation on the couch.
Oh, yeah.
Like 3 meters away from us. And I go, hey, Jam, I want to start a podcast. And I'd been thinking of this for a long time.
Yeah, you were like, I could do this.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, I didn't know if I could do this, and I didn't know if I'd be good at it. It's that I wanted to.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I didn't know if I could be good at it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I knew that I wanted to because I knew what podcasting had done for my life in terms of the types of people we've listened to, and for our lives.
Yes.
Right. I mean, massively so. So I turn around and I'm like, I want to start a podcast. So I need some technical advice. Right. Obviously, in terms of the setup of the music. So we chat about it. And you come up with a budget, right? Because that's what I needed. I needed to know how much I was in for in terms of spending money.
Yeah.
And you gave me a figure and I was like, oh, damn. I don't have enough money. You pop up, right? And you're like, I'll pay for it. I'll be your main sponsor.
That's what happened.
Why?
Okay. So the back story is that what people don't know is we were talking about me going to Copa, but what we didn't say was that,
of course. Okay, yes.
Was that you were the one that paid for it.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can take the backstory again and we can go, I was in college playing guitar, and the backstory is that you were the one that bought me the guitar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. My first electric. Still have it. Yeah. And we can go back and go, you were the guy who drove me to college every single day. Yeah. And you always called me return on investments.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've always called me that. And I've never gone like, oh, I have to do something to make it, you know, like that. You've never put me in that place. Right. No. But when you...
No, I've never put pressure on you in terms of a time frame on return on investment. Yes. But I wanted you to understand
that this is real.
Not just that it's real, Jam. It was a mental thing I did. Because by saying to you, I'm investing in you, right? Then I'm expecting you to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
If you understand what I could just give you the money and then you can just piss it away, like a lot of young fucking wankers out there do. Right? No, true story. Or I can say, hey, bro, you're my return on investment. I've put all this money into you.
Yeah.
Do something with it.
Yeah. So then you came up with this idea, and for the first time ever in, I think, our relationship, right? Like, I knew more than you did about this particular topic, right? For the first time ever.
You were the Jedi master.
I was the master, and you had to listen.
And I was the Padawan.
And I put the budget together, but for this system.
Yeah.
For this system to be as good as it is, because you, like Roman said, like you hit the ground running, man. You were out the starting gates really well. Like the quality, except for one podcast, but the quality has been absolutely like really, really good. And it's been just getting better the whole time for both of us. So I knew all about this, and I looked at my bank account, and I looked at what I had and what I could give, and I was like, dude, I could totally help you out on this. And it was something that you wanted to do. It was the first time that I've heard you, like, you were like, hey bro, I want to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Well, you never spoke to me about that. You just did it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I want to read a lot of books. You never spoke to me about that. You just did it. You were you did your own thing. This is the first time you came to me and you were like, yo, so
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'd think I'd be good. And that was the words you used. You were like, I think I could be good at. Well, I was like, and my first response was like, what, talking shit the whole time? Of course you're good at that. you laughed exactly the same. You were like, yeah, I could talk shit. I'm like, no, Huntley, you can talk shit, bro. You good at that, hey? And if not, the first 2 podcasts you do will just smash 2 or 3 tequilas. And
then I'd really talk shit.
Really fine. But I don't really know. I just wanted to. I think through all the stuff that had happened through all the years, the fact that me and you became as tight as we are as brothers, because I think when it comes to brotherly tightness, like I haven't met 2 brothers that are as tight as me and you are.
Even Nicholas Gregorio.
Nicholas Gregorio, the great and wonderful Nicholas. He was also just like, I've never seen it, and it's true.
And I think it's the age difference. I really do.
And a few other things.
Yeah, and a few other things. But nevertheless, so we decided to put together this goddamn podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we buy all the equipment, and so you start on this education.
Oh yeah. And I know, because I teach 7-year-olds all the time.
We're doing jiu-jitsu after this. I just want to let you know, right? We're going to. But in any case, no, on a very serious note though, and the whole idea was to break down the system, set up the system, record, break down the system, set up the system, record. And I did this over and over, because you know how obsessive I get. Yeah. And I must have drove you crazy.
Yeah. No, not at all. I kind of knew what you were doing. I know your processes. So I sat back and just watched it. And it was fine. It was fine. It didn't bother me at all.
Have you been... And I mean, because you're intricately part of this podcast.
Yeah.
Literally, if people enjoy the podcast, you have to understand... it's made up of 2 parts. You and me. Right? Everybody sees me and nobody sees you. Right? Because you do pre-production, you purchased all the equipment, you do all the sound, you do everything that, until I get to take it then and put it actually out into the ether. Right? So fundamentally we are joined at the hip in terms of this podcast. So as much as the Thought Lab is Huntley Smith, the Thought Lab is also Jaryd Smith. And I see it that way, regardless of whether you haven't. And I see you thinking about it that way.
No, I get that, because when I'm playing big shows, the sound engineer is more as part of the band as
even
as
though nobody knows.
And truthfully, the sound guy could just be like, no. I mean, he could just switch it off and then one.
Yeah. So being part of the podcast, have you been blown away with the guests I've got?
Yes. Yeah.
Because
100%.
I've been fucking blown away with the guests I've got.
100%.
It's been ridiculous.
And I've also liked the fact that you did the whole human element with him. What I mean by that was, even though you did it with someone you knew, clever move there.
Yeah.
Right? You made it you made it very human. Does that make sense? A lot of people when they jump into something they've never done before, you know, you're still trying to find your bearings, and you're still like, when I started music, I went through like 3 or 4 or 5 different stages to find out what I like doing.
Yeah.
And you, I think maybe because of your age, or maybe because of what you've been doing in your life, or I don't know what it is, but you kind of just sat into, you're going to get better at it. For 100%.
Definitely.
But you've got your thing already. You chat to people really well, and I don't think it's going to change in that aspect. I think the quality will get better. Maybe the cameras will get better. Everything will get better in quality wise, right? But the way that you bring the humanity out in people, right? You're talking about, so my favorite podcast so far, right, has been the Ian Weinberg, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that blew my mind. But that was also because me and you have this thing about this whole psychology, and we love listening to
psychologists,
like just the crazy stuff, and
sure.
And you know, I liked it, and even with a guy that intelligent, you still made him sound like human, like. Okay. And you gave him the chance to just sit back and have a conversation. He himself said, I didn't know we were going to talk about this. And I don't know if it's on the podcast or if it's after the podcast. Okay. You know, because I get to hear that stuff where I cut it and I go, no one else gets to hear this stuff. But he also said, like, I didn't expect it. No, he did. He said it in the podcast. He was like, you've allowed me, because
yes, that's right.
You've allowed me to go down these holes, you know, and you've done that with all your podcast guests. And every one of them have started off just like I did, a little bit like because it's the way it is, but then the way that you do it, that dissipates a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And I always find that the end of your podcasts, towards the last hour or so, the guys really sit down and you guys really get into like just conversation.
And this is, you know, interestingly enough, you know, there is a production house that I don't want to mention it, that I was very interested in looking at going under, right? And if I did that, I would be subject to their time slots. I know it would fast track the podcast. Definitely would get in front of ears that it's not in front of right now. So it would definitely fast track, but I would have to sacrifice time.
Yeah.
And that to me is the biggest thing. You know, I say something, and maybe the listeners don't know, but I say something to my guests before every single podcast. I say, guys, we go for as long as we go. There's no predetermined time frame.
No.
Okay.
Because imagine now we had to just stop. We could be like,
boom.
Okay, cool. That's all we have. And then like, there's so much more to talk about.
Exactly. And I always wanted to run its course organically, authentically, and naturally. And when it gets to, I get to a point where I'm like, done. And typically that's my 2-hour mark.
Yeah. And how many times, I don't know, for the guys that are listening to the podcast, right? How many times have you got to the end of the podcast? Because I drive fast, so I have time. Yeah. Right? How many times you get to the end of the podcast and you almost kind of get like a little whimper? You're like, oh.
Yeah, I do that with the big podcasters, right? When like Joe Rogan's busy talking to Ian Weinberg.
No. And then they're like, and then Joe Rogan's like, should we cut it? And then in my head, I'm like shouting in my car. I'm like, don't.
Yeah. Every single podcast that Joe Rogan has ever done with Jordan Peterson, I felt that it's like a novel. You know, I read a lot.
It's
and
like
at the
a
end,
great story.
Yeah, at the end of the book,
it's
and you're like, I don't want it to be finished. I love that person.
Don't stop.
But it has been such a fucking interesting journey, this little podcast journey.
Yeah, it's also, I like it for many reasons, but there's a few personal reasons why I like it. First of all, the personal reason is you get to live in your own way in my world.
Yes.
Right? So you get to see things that you've never seen and never understood. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the second thing is you get to experience, because a lot of the guys that you have on here are the best at what they do. Yeah. They're really good at what they do.
That's,
and you get
that's the whole goal.
You get to see that side of people, and you get to take me on the adventure of, I get to see them as well. So for me, it's also personal in my own ways.
Of course, bro.
So I like the fact that you set this up. I like the fact that you now know what it's like to drive around with equipment all the time and not want to take it out your car. All right. Sometimes you just don't want it.
I want it to stay there. Yeah.
Just leave it there and just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, but and listen to me, dude. On behalf of everybody who listens to this podcast, right? You see what I just did there?
That was cute. Yeah.
Thank you for that, bro.
Yeah.
And we are going to call it though, because we're going to go do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But before we call it though,
yes.
right? We've started creating rules.
We did
on the podcast.
We did. Yes.
Rule number 1: don't be a doss.
Yeah.
Rule number 2: don't do anything that will harm you or others long term. Mm-hmm. Right. I think there is a rule number 3 that we made up.
Yeah, but it didn't stick.
It didn't stick.
No, because I want to be rule number 3.
Okay, what's rule number 3?
So, I've been in this since day dots, right?
Yeah.
Since it started, even before anybody even listened to the podcast,
yes.
I was part of the podcast,
yes.
right? So, I've listened to all of them. I've made sure that I'm learning the qualities and stuff. And then the Ian Weinberg. Listen, guys, if you thought this was a boring podcast, right? Do yourself a favor, right? Yeah. And go listen to the Ian Weinberg one, and then all the others as well. But you guys were speaking about that alpha thing. What's it? The
alphabet. Yeah.
Alpha thing.
Alpha. Yeah.
Right? And what made me go right was the fact that you guys were talking about the fact that an alpha guy isn't the strong, narcissistic, strong type of person who will walk into a place and be just the big strong, follow me, we can survive, that guy. But the alpha guy was the same kind of attributes, the strong, be there for you, but also understands emotion.
Yeah.
Right?
And has empathy and sympathy.
Yeah. Mm. So that word that you just said now, that empathy, right? That's throughout the podcast, right? You guys smashed it so many times. You said that word so many times throughout the podcast, right? That because it hit me the first time you guys said it, and then every time you said it, I was like, "Ooh, there's a word again. There's a word again." And the word empathy started really resonating.
Mm.
But then also, I feel like we also say, let's just try and make the world better than it was yesterday.
Mm.
And we all go, "Oh, that's such a beautiful thing to say." Here's a question for you.
How do you do that?
How?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So how do I do it? Do I magically wake up one morning and I save a dog, or how do I make it better?
Yeah.
Okay. So the rule that I think should be number 3, and it's going to be entirely up to you, right? Rule number 3 is add a little empathy. And it's that simple for me. And I've been trying it since this. It's been super difficult, okay? Because sometimes I just want to kick a calf, all right?
Yeah.
Okay? But it happened this weekend again, where someone didn't deserve it, right? At a wedding, didn't deserve kindness, didn't deserve nothing, right? I walked up to him, and the first thing I thought, I was like, just add a little empathy. Mm. And when you think like that, you kind of it's almost like that saying, put your feet in his shoes. Yeah. Try and walk a mile in his shoes. Yeah. It's the same thing. Just add a little empathy. Just go. Hey, man.
This is the Kaizen.
Yeah.
This is the Kaizen of emotions.
Yeah. Just add a little bit. So when you get angry, just add a little empathy and give a shit.
I love
just
it.
Something, just small. It doesn't have to be huge, and that's how you can change.
I love it.
The world.
I love it. Let's see if it'll stick, but I love it.
Add a little empathy.
And dude, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Bro, thank you so much, man.
Hey, it was fucking cool.
I didn't expect it to be this quick, I thought it'd be like your podcast number 20 or something.
No, God damn it, I wanted you on.
We're not putting a number on this.
No,
we're not,
because we don't know when we're going to release it.
We don't know. Yeah.
So we'll take it from there. So, dude, thank you very much. We're going to go do some jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah.
And awesome. To the guests, so long and thanks for all the fish.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Ciao, bye. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I do. Really, what a pleasure and a privilege to sit down and have a chat with Jam and have him on the podcast. It was really just 2 hours of pleasure, and I really enjoyed the podcast, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you very much. Until next week, ciao, bye.